Okay, Saturday, 23rd of August, 2025, to Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know, how to outperform Bitcoin and ride the future. Build on Bitcoin. The fundamental principle here to understand is, what are you building the business on? What are the foundations? What are the first principles? When we boil down Bitcoin to its first principles, money you can own, money you can spend, apolitical, decentralized, censorship resistant, with a fixed supply, and thousands of nodes and distributed network of miners around the world, world's largest supercomputer, 1 zettahash, things like that, as opposed to fiat, what it is: pounds, dollars, central bank, one node, unlimited supply. Bitcoin has no top because fiat has no bottom. If you're building a business derived on Bitcoin, using its first principle to your advantage, like what strategy is doing, 21, XX1 or XXI.money, what they're doing, and what Apple in the future will be doing, or Amazon in the future, in a few years from now, what they will be doing. They are building businesses that will outperform and outlast anything in that fiat world today. Anything derived or built on top of pounds or dollars, euros, rubles, rupees, you name it. Cayman Island dollars, peso from wherever, Argentine peso, Mexican peso, you name it. Because the denominator, I did a video about that, is fundamentally different, fundamentally better, 0 to 1, something completely different. Therefore, if you are building on Bitcoin, you will, by definition, outperform Bitcoin. As Bitcoin is the fastest horse in the race, as described by, I forgot who said it now, but we just look at the charts. Look at any chart, pound to Bitcoin, dollar Bitcoin, you name it, peso, whichever peso, Bitcoin goes to 0. So therefore, if you're building on Bitcoin, you've got longevity built in. House or castle, you could say, built on rock. Very nice. Essentially, you could say, go onto a Bitcoin standard. Perfect. Price everything in Satoshis, value it in Satoshis, and that leads to all these KPIs. The BRR rate, Bitcoin return rate, Bitcoin yield, Bitcoin per share, other things like other KPIs, other measurements like that, which in the future, many more will flourish. And this gives credence to what Michael Saylor said, where all your models are broken, because your fundamental first principle, that your fundamental assumption is, we're not pricing things in pounds and dollars and euro, but in Bitcoin, in Satoshis. Therefore, the whole game, the whole map, the whole territory is completely different. Everything has changed. It's just waiting for you to adopt it, because fundamentally it's a voluntary network. Bitcoin doesn't force you. You accept Bitcoin. You come to Bitcoin in a very spiritual way. You understand Bitcoin and you accept and embrace. Someone recently told me that they were looking into a business that they wanted to acquire, start using, whatever. And I noticed, they didn't say anything, but I thought to myself straight away that what that person needs to do is straight away go into a Bitcoin standard, and over time, the debts, this corporate debts will go to 0. I remember also hearing another podcast, someone talk about some legal fees, and they were looking to delay payment of that, which is an interesting strategy, interesting idea, because over time in Bitcoin the legal fees will go to 0. Perfect. And then someone also said one interesting strategy with regards to groceries: smash by the amount in dollars you need for the year, for example, in groceries, $100 a month, for example, so 5,300 for the year, call it 6,000. Put that into $6,000 straight away, 1st of January, into Bitcoin, and over time, 6 months, 12 months, whatever, as and when you need that money, you spend it. Turn it into cash or via Lightning Network, and you buy the things with it. And that's the fundamental difference with regards to the balance sheet and the attitude towards the finances that needs to happen in the context of Bitcoin in order to change your understanding and appreciation, and also long-term thinking, in a sense of You buy the money, or buy the Bitcoin. Actually, you do buy the money. Come to think, oh, well, different semantics. You acquire the Bitcoin 1st of January, and then when it comes to groceries in late August, 8 months later, the price has collapsed. And imagine that on a grand scale, they've gone to businesses and technology and corporations, deflation. That's the kind of Bitcoin standard that needs to go on to people, businesses, corporations, you name it, in order to beat Bitcoin. Because look at the charts, pound, dollars, euros goes to zero. So therefore, if you're building on top of Bitcoin, you're leveraging its speed, its growth, its CAGR, its compound annual growth rate, and your own incentive, your own intuition, your own infrastructure, your own progress. All of that combined together is how you can outperform Bitcoin. Otherwise, that's the hurdle rate. That's the new hurdle rate. If you're not beating Bitcoin, then you're going backwards. You're either standing still or slowly drifting back. This is the Red Queen syndrome, meaning you're running harder and harder and harder, more and more energy, just to stay in the same place, economically, financially, which is not good progress. That's not what we want. So if you're not using it, you are, mathematically speaking, financially speaking, storing your wealth in melting ice cubes. Oh yeah, poetically speaking as well, and going backwards. So if you're not using it, you've lost, but you don't realise it fundamentally, and then you'll notice it over time. The Bank of England has a calculator of inflation. What was £10 in 2000 versus today? It's what, £40. And imagine 40 years from now, 30 years from now, £10 today could be £100, for example, in a decade from now, in terms of purchasing power. But look at the charts. Trend is your friend. Look at how Bitcoin has performed. And what does that say about the purchasing power? If you're not using that, you are losing. You're literally having a foundation of stone, a foundation of sand. That's the biblical way to view it. House built on stone versus sand. Because the first principles are completely different. That's how you can outperform everything. In fact, roughly now is Bitcoin Infinity Day. Talking about infinity, what was it now? Infinity divided by 21, with regards to how everything that is built, is created, exists, can only be squeezed into 21 million or 210 quintillion satoshis. That means, again, there's the principles, fixed supply. That means that those satoshis can only go one way, up into the where into the where? That direction. Because it's maths, it's all just maths. And we can see this maths being played out on all the charts. Dollar BTC, Euro BTC, Pound BTC, Cayman Dollar BTC, you name it. It's all right there, the maths is all right there. It's just a case of, do you admit it? Do you embrace it? Do you recognize it? Or are you going to deny it? I did a video about this. Rocco's Basilisk. Deny it at your peril. Reject it at your peril. Ooh, interesting, because the maths is all there. And we can go deeper to say, look at the 200-week moving average. And then where you can see the mega trend of where it's going. Up into the where? Right into the where? There we are then. The maths is screaming at you. But then it's a question of using it. So on the 25th of November 2024, when I was in El Zonte of all places, I talked about how businesses in the future, like Amazon and Apple, would integrate Bitcoin. And I imagined that Apple would integrate it into their own kind of wallet, in the sense of they would take a fee from the transactions and use that for whatever, for bonds or collateral, etc. And then imagine what Amazon could be doing. Something similar, fair enough. But then imagine saying, how a cricket team right here, or a golf club, imagine how they could be using it in the future. Or even insurance companies, micro insurance by the second, with regards to the Lightning Network. These businesses will find their own innovative way to incorporate it into their business model. And in fact, we can go deeper to say there are business models that today that are impossible or very, very difficult to create, but because of Bitcoin will make it completely possible, and in hindsight will be blindingly obvious and blindingly clear, or it'll be blindingly annoying why that wasn't always the case. You know, how we could say social media manager was not a job in the year 1995, for example. So it'll exist, and it'll be amazing. New kinds of industries will emerge that will use Bitcoin in many different ways. Powerful. Just how in the same way, and it'll be native as well. So you could say that MicroStrategy or Strategy, they adopted Bitcoin, and XX1 is a Bitcoin native company. Just how today we wouldn't even think about having a company that does not use don't use internet. Therefore, who builds a physical brick and mortars business? So in the future, 30 years from now, easily 30 years, people will be saying, of course it's built on Bitcoin, and what else is there? You're not going to build it on the banking system, you're not going to build it on this flawed system. What, build a business on Argentine peso? Things like that, or Turkish lira. No one's going to say that. Just how today no one says, oh, I'm going to build a business that's analog native, does not use internet in any way. No way, Jose. It'll be that. It'll be akin to saying that. No business strategist will say that. No financier, no banker will encourage that. It's just not going to happen. It'll just be archaic. It'll be like today saying, let's start a taxi firm that uses horses instead. No one's going to say that. No one, absolutely no one. Whoop. No one's going to say that in the same way. But that's easily 30 years from now at a real casual, slow pace. Easily. And that is how you're going to outpace Bitcoin, by building on top of it. If you're not using it, you're going to be left behind. All the maths is right there. All the maths is right there screaming at you. All the charts say it. Just extrapolate it into the future. The trend is your friend. The trend is your friend. That's it. If the maths all says it, that's it. There's no argument. But then it's down to you, individually, like everyone else in the world, to recognize it. The first principle, education really. First principles, embrace it, study it, you name it, do the 100 hours at least of studying it and understanding it. The first principles and beyond that. Otherwise, storing your wealth in Bitcoin, by definition, you'd be a winner as well. Again, the maths is all there. Dollar to BTC, euro to BTC, pound to BTC. There we are, sorted, no questions asked. The trend is your friend. The trend is your friend. Study Bitcoin. Study Bitcoin. Very important. But otherwise, Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Subscribe for more, and you will see me tomorrow.